So thank you guys for coming. Welcome to our first TRI Research and Career Development Seminar Series for the fall. We'll have these every other Friday, so keep an eye out for more announcements about the topics and what they're covering and who will be speaking. Today we're welcoming Dr. Jean McSweeney here to talk about ARresearch, which is really awesome in my opinion. I think it's a cool registry. I've helped recruit for it, and the more I learn about it, the more excited I am that Arkansas is involved in this really cool, neat registry thing. And we've gotten over 3,000.
Yeah, close to 4,000.
Close to 4,000 now, so that's really amazing. So I'll turn it over to Dr. McSweeney so she can tell us about the registry.
One thing, I'll start and tell you a little bit about my own personal experience. When I first came here, I needed to recruit women who had a diagnosis of heart disease and had already had a myocardial infarction. And there was no registry at all, and it took me over a year to establish a suitable recruitment plan where I had a chance of meeting my approval goals. And I knew that in order to be competitive, we absolutely could not take a year to figure out adequate accrual plans. And so I have been a huge advocate across this campus of establishing registries, and in fact had helped establish the cardiovascular registry some years ago that kind of was a prototype for the ARresearch Registry that I'm going to tell you about today. So anyway, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how we went about establishing this registry, how it continues to evolve, and how you can access the registry. So the importance of the registry really, as you can see here, has to do with the amount of money that research brings into UAMS. And I think that's true for most campuses across this country, that NIH funding absolutely is crucial to continuing research at any of the major research-intensive universities. And more so to us because we are in a poorer state and do not have a lot of state support, so it is absolutely vital that we have external funds in order to assist us with research. And you can see how much square footage of research space is dedicated here at UAMS to our research endeavors. Now, on the next slide, you'll see that there is a big volunteer problem. If you get in the literature and look about accrual, you will see there are two major issues associated with accrual of research participants. One certainly has to do with lack of education. People often view research as something that treats them like an experimental animal, that they don't receive the same amount of care, that the care that they might receive in a research study is more about the study and not to promote their own health. And we certainly have had episodes in this country and in other countries where this view has been substantiated. Almost all of you have heard about Henrietta Lacks, and that's the most recent one. Certainly the Tuskegee syphilis experiments certainly is another one where people were not informed appropriately, were not cared for appropriately, and biological samples were preserved and used without permission from the family. So we have that to overcome and to educate people. The other thing is to get research opportunities to the public because they don't know where to access it. And so it's a two-pronged problem. And so with our registry, we are trying to address both of these issues with a two-pronged approach. So you can see study enrollment challenges that we have here. Yeah, I need to move up a little because I can't really see the slides. So, but you can see from this with the study enrollment challenges how much it actually increases the cost of studies and the length of studies. And also, if we don't get enough subjects, then obviously our research does not have enough numbers of subjects to really be meaningful and to achieve statistical significance and clinical significance. And so the numbers, we do power analyses, we very carefully estimate the number of subjects that we need, and if we cannot achieve that, then we have failed in many ways. Oftentimes we may not have used the money that we have worked so hard to achieve to fund our research, and then we're not able to really conduct the research the way that we planned. So we launched the participant registry in April of 2016, but we spent a year prior to that before we ever launched the ARresearch Registry. And so what we did to launch it and to develop it is we used our community advisory boards, and we talked with them about what they would need to know about research, what were their attitudes about participating in research, what kind of things would they like to see on a site. They helped us with everything from picking colors to the name to a whole variety of issues. So we feel like our registry really has evolved from the citizens in Arkansas who are interested in participating in research and promoting research in their communities. And this is what, if you'll go back one more, you will see what our actual picture looks like. And behind each one of these 4 main blocks, there is a different educational piece in here so that people can click on that and find out more about research. We also have testimonials from actual research participants that have completed studies, are currently in studies, for them to talk about what their experience has been like. We have people talking about what it's meant to their family to be able to participate in research. We had some pictures from a file that you can access that are not copyright protected. The cabs threw that out and said, no, we want people from Arkansas. These are all actual people from Arkansas. And it was interesting, we recruit a variety of places, and I was recruiting at the fair last year, and this man with the dog on the end, he came up to the booth and he goes, that is me. And he was just really, thrilled to see that his picture was included in here. So it's neat that these are actually people from Arkansas. Okay, Nia. So we have been trying to promote this to a very broad, diverse audience. Initially, when we launched this, after we had it, it took us almost a year to develop it. And as we launched it, we really did a massive media campaign. And here you will see us talking, I think this one might have been channel 11, but we did most all of the TV programs, news shows. We did them all times of the day. We did early morning, noon, evening. I was on radio. I did a couple of radio call-ins. We've done a whole variety of ways to try to promote this. And certainly with our social media, we promoted it and put these stories up. We had, when I did one of the radio shows as a very popular host, we actually had a picture of him enrolling in the registry. The chancellor, we had him enrolling in the registry, and he did a promotion for us across campus. So we've just really tried to hit a diverse group with doing this. We've also had it translated into Hispanic so that we can take this to any minority populations like Congolese and our Latino population across the state. So finding volunteers, once we had this launch, then we needed to get people to sign up for it. So we did this massive campaign, advertising campaign, and then we decided that it was time to really go out and try to meet the public. Because one of the issues that's in the literature, as I alluded to earlier, is that you have to link the volunteers with the registry. And one of the largest ones that we have right now is from Vanderbilt, and they actually did a mass email blast. And they did it to anybody who had ever gone to any of their university clinics and anybody that was associated with the university and the clinics. And they, after 36 months, they have less people enrolled than we do, and we've been in existence for about a year and a half. But I attribute that to us going out to people, not just doing email blasts. But we believe that we have to get out there in order to get a very diverse population. So we have linked it. It was not one of the first things we did, but we do link it to MyChart. So anybody that goes into MyChart will see a link. It will take them directly to the registry where they can enroll. And our enrollment takes about 5 minutes. It's designed to be very simple, quick. Most anybody can do it. And so, but the UAMS My Chart has ended up being a very popular one for us. And so it has been very good for us. Another thing that we do, and you can see here, I think we're at the ball game, the top picture, the bottom one, I think we're at UALR at the basketball game. But sporting events has helped us to reach really diverse age groups besides ethnicities and races. So we have really been doing that a lot. The very first year, I think we went to 3 or 4 Travelers ball games, and then began to add in the basketball games and a couple of football games. And we have the fair coming up again, and we'll be doing that because next to UAMS My Chart, and the fair is at only 1 week, My Chart is continuous. We have the most registrants from the fair. And so it was a very successful campaign to do that. We also, whenever somebody gets an appointment reminder from UAMS in the mail, they will also receive information about the registry and how to enroll for it. It is certainly on our website, social media, and traditional media. So we've tried to take advantage of any electronic format besides some of the other areas. And the next one, I think, has a few more places that we've been recruiting. We work very closely with the Arkansas Minority Commission. They have 3 to 4 events statewide in different small communities throughout the state that are primarily minority populations. And so whenever they're going to have an event, we link with them and have a table set up there and enroll people at these events. And we've done so in Helena and a variety of other places. We've also do Cinco de Mayo. We've done that in Springdale. Any different groups that get together, we try to recruit from if we know about it ahead of time.
How, if someone was interested in, if they were holding like a fair, how would they get in, like contact you to see if y'all wanted to set up?
You can contact me. You can go through the TRI portal and say Sandra Hatley, Hatley, is our main person that schedules this. But that's a very good thing to ask because I have sent emails and personally met with all of the regional directors throughout the state of Arkansas and asked them if they have any community events to let us know. We've been all over the state.
One of my RAs in her free time is doing a mental health fair to raise awareness and acceptance of mental health. And I think it's in October. It's down at the River Mall.
I think we're already scheduled.
Okay, yeah, I was going to tell her if y'all weren't to contact you. Okay.
Because that one has been on our radar. We run about probably 4 months ahead.
Okay.
And some of them have very high fees and some of them that we can't afford, and then some of them have no fees, and then like the fair, I think is about $500 for us to be able to have a booth there. And so it varies. We also have not very many of us on the committee. Sometimes like we have this senior expo, we've got the fair, and there's another one going on. We don't have enough people and enough iPads to be able to recruit all of them at the same time. But we try to look at about how many people are going to be attending, what kind of people are going to be attending, because we know we need to build up more diversity in our registry. So we take all of that into consideration and the cost. But I appreciate you asking that because that's very important. We only know about some of these because people contact us from communities or events and say, hey, what do you think about this? And we certainly try to get there if at all possible. So these are just some of the places that we've been to, and I love this map because it shows you that we have been at 48 different events across the state. This was a couple of months ago when we did this, and these are just some of the different towns and cities across the state that we've been to recruit. Now, this is just for the months of September and October that are just about to complete September, but these are ones coming up. And you can see we have the Faith Network Summit, Science Cafe. We just started trying to do that. We did one, and we're going to go back there and try again with a different topic because we were able to get people, but it was in a very crowded venue, and it was hard to have enough space to really get to people to sign them up. These are community forums. You can see the Latino Awareness Day, the fair, and so these are just some of them. And we've never done the Big Dam Bridge one before, but we're going to try that. That's a cycling one, I think. And so we're going to try that because we figured those people will be pretty health conscious and they might be willing to sign up and be interested. So far we have more than 3,500. I think it's up to about 3,800 right now. We continue to add people every single month. And we do different kinds of enticements periodically, like at the fair, we're going to have a chance to win a gift certificate. If you register at the fair, you'll be able to register or to put your ticket in for to win the gift certificate. When we first started off at the ball game, we actually had Yeti tumblers that they could sign up for because we thought that would really fit with the fair. You want something to drink, and that would fit. We had a lot of interest in that. And this is one of my counterparts that just walked in here, David Robinson. And he has been instrumental in our media campaigns and also helping to recruit. He really helps tremendously with this. So this is, I think, something that we are probably most proud of. We have looked at the census and the breakdown by race and ethnicity across this state, and we are almost an exact match for the profile of the state, of the residents of this state. And I think I attribute that really to us going to every corner of the state to try to recruit. And we, David, you might update me, we had registrants from every single county except one. Did we ever get that one yet?
I don't know.
Okay.
Since I haven't looked in a week or two.
Okay.
But, yeah.
And it does change weekly, but we're going to get that one so we can say we have a registrant from every single county here pretty soon. The registrants control what studies they are contacted about, and this is not a really clear slide, but I wanted you to at least be able to see once they get into this registry, and we do this on iPads when we're out recruiting so that it's a little bit easier for them to see. Rather, you can do this on a phone, but we take our iPads with us, and sometimes, you know, we have a few glitches here and there, but for the most part it works very well. And we help them if they need. Some people don't have glasses, can't see very well, have a variety of issues, and we will help them with this. But these are the topics that they're able to sign up for, and they can only be contacted about the things that they check. And this is very important to them, and this is a way that they can maintain their privacy, but also be able to say, this runs in my family, I'm interested in this, I have this particular illness, I want to do this. And we certainly have a lot of healthy volunteers. Our younger age group particularly is interested in this. I had twin African-American males, probably about 20, 22 at the ball game, and the one twin came up and he registered as a healthy volunteer. He says, I'm grabbing my twin brother and he's registering too. And so he drugged him in and he got registered too. But it's interesting the way that it works. But he was very interested because hypertension ran so much in their family and had numerous family members with strokes. And he said, we've got to do something about this and we've got to participate in research. And so even though they were both healthy, they also checked that they would be interested in some studies about hypertension. Occasionally we'll find something that's not on here. We've had a couple of investigators say, you don't have my topic covered, and we can go in and add something if we need to. We've tried to make these broad enough that people in a public setting are able to say, oh, I can relate to that, like men's health. And we can talk to them if they say, what's that mean? We'll say, well, prostate, or something that pertains just to men, and women the same thing. But we've tried to keep these general enough, but yet specific enough that would help our investigators as they begin to search for people that have volunteered in their particular disease or illness category. But we have added rare diseases as one that we have added. Trying to see, we added another one about, it was safety, and remember where that one may not be on there, but we have added that with the substance abuse research, So some of these are sleep disorders. We've added some of these in, were some of the more recent ones. But most of these were included at the beginning. So we've got some people for, I think, every single category now.
And so is the thinking on those, like you said, pretty broad? So I noticed there was a category for weight management that included diet, exercise. Let's say you're doing a study looking at the impact of exercise on functional status. Would that sort of fit in that
Yes.
weight management one enough that it would be okay to contact?
Yes, absolutely.
Just as a,
yes. And you might also want some of the healthy volunteers, depending on how you were doing that. So absolutely. Now, this is what we're finding, because we track. We're going to be going in for a renewal, so we're keeping track of every single thing about how people are hearing about it and coming in to register. Because as I told you, some of these places that we go to recruit have fees up to $1,000. One wanted $5,000, and we elected not to do that one. But we have to see where we get the biggest bang for our buck, so to speak. And sometimes if we really need this group, we think we don't have enough, I don't know, people with HIV, let's say. If we don't have enough of those, we might try to target the AIDS awareness or something like that, and we would pay the fee because it would be worth it to us. But we try to really balance out to find out where we're getting the biggest bang for our buck. But you can see UAMS My Chart, about 17% is coming in from there. And remember, that is continuous. That's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The state fair, 9% is, again, as I said, that was a one-time event. It did last for a week, but it's our second highest. So it was very fruitful place to recruit.
Is this just for adults?
Yes, that's correct. So we don't have any children in this registry. Children's, I think, has their own registry. Yes, yes. And since they're one of our partners, you don't want to overstep, but we did have people that asked us for safety, like gun safety, medication safety, that is more family oriented than just specific
Well, there
for
was one
children.
on there that was like interest was children, like birth defects.
That's a genetic. That's for a genetic piece to that. So, news outlet, you can see local community events and then clinic appointment reminders. And we've only been doing the clinic appointment reminders probably about 6 months. So I think that's a pretty good percentage already for not having been in effect that long. Okay, Neil? These are the registrants' interest areas that they've checked to date to give you an idea about how many we have. And we have no control over this. You know, when we go out to recruit, we're just happy to get people to enroll. So, but you can see that weight management is our very top one. And the new statistics have just come out, and Arkansas is number 3rd fattest state in the nation now. And so I'm happy to see that so many people are indeed interested in weight management. And because we need that very much for our state to make our state a little bit healthier. And then we have, let me see some of these others, mental health, healthy volunteers. So we have a good group of healthy volunteers here. Here's heart disease, which is another major disease in our state. And then we have sleep disorders, women's health, neurology, endocrinology, dental health, digestion, come all the way down to cancer is not as much as I would have expected, perhaps. There's a specific substance abuse down here that might also go with mental health. Blood disorders, infectious diseases. So you can begin to see we really do try to cover the full spectrum here to allow, to make this as useful as possible to any of our researchers across campus. So this is our registrants do, as I said, represent 74 of Arkansas's 75 counties. And our data do reflect the biggest health challenges in the state. And I think that tells us that if we can reach people, which we're trying to do, they are interested in trying to improve their health, and they realize the impact of being obese and some of the cardiovascular disease and some of the other issues that we see across this state. And it certainly will help us to inform our decisions in the future. And the registry, I want to encourage people. We really spent the first year and a half developing this registry. You've got to get enough people in it to make it useful to the researchers. If we only have 5 people in it, obviously it's not very useful to anybody. But we're getting close to 4,000 people now, and so we are really trying to get to researchers now to encourage them to use this as much as possible. I try any grant that goes in from the College of Nursing, which is where my primary appointment is, to put the registry in as part of their recruitment strategy. And it's been very effective. We've done pilot studies and have used the registry that has been useful to us. NIH likes to see this, that if you go in, if you write good grants and everybody has approximately the same score, and if you can put in that you have 200 people in the registry that are interested in this topic and you're only trying to recruit 150 people, you can see how someone that doesn't have any names or any indication of the number of people that might be interested, how that could help you get a better score at NIH. And so we're really trying to encourage people to use this. We've got one grant going in now, and we have more people in the registry than this person actually needs to recruit with this particular topic. And I think that's going to really help with that. So we are trying to get more people to use it. You can go to tri.uams.edu and you can click on Request Services. You can use this in 2 different ways. You can put in the registry at the beginning, and we can go in and actually search. If you will tell us that you want somebody with sleep disorders that's female between the ages of such and such, we can go in and search that and tell you the number of people that meet that particular, those criteria for you. You can't get any names or any contact information, but this is pre-funding so that you would be able to get that information. The other way that you can do it is if you already have a grant funded and you are already starting to accrue, you already have IRB approval, we have the template for you that you can go in, get the template, fill it in, send it back to IRB, and it will go through very quickly that you're going to begin to supplement your recruitment plan with people that are in the registry. So those are 2 really good ways for researchers to be able to work on meeting their accrual goals.
And is that their request services?
Yes, that's correct. And we've had people go in both ways at this point. But we're trying to get more and more people to plan it up front, and it will make it you just add another step. If you're already into recruitment, you already may be behind in recruitment, and we're trying to keep you from getting behind. We're trying to get it in at the beginning so that you can use this in your grant to strengthen the grant and then be able to go ahead and contact these people. The other thing that I would add, and I don't know, do I have more slides?
No, that's all right.
Okay. The other thing that we're trying to do is, remember I told you we launched this a year and a half ago. Some of these people have never been contacted that have been in the registry this long. And so we are going to be sending out an email to them about happy birthday on their birthday. We're also going to be having periodic contact. We're debating every 3 to 6 months right now just to say you're still in the registry. You know, we don't have a funded study at this time. That's why you haven't been contacted. But please, you know, hang in there. That we still will be contacting you. So we're trying to keep people interested. The other thing that we've had to do is try to go in and figure out some way for people to update their record. And I use my neighbor as an example, when she entered the registry, she may have clicked on a couple of things, but since she has developed cancer, and she said, well, now I want to go in and click on cancer. And so we didn't have any way for people to update. They were going to have to go in and then do an entirely new record, and then we were going to have to go in and search for duplicates and try to meld these two together. So now we have been working with IT very closely. We have an IT person on our committee, and he's working closely with them to try to enable people to go in and see only their own information and to be able to say this is an update, not have to complete all the top part of this registry information, and just go in and be able to update if something new has occurred in themselves or perhaps in their family members. So those are the main things that we're working on right now. I'd like to answer questions for you or any comments, any way you think we might improve it, what you think about it, any way we can get it out to people easier.
One thing for researchers too, you may have mentioned this already, but if you go to our website, we have an ARresearch for researchers page on the TRI website, and it has a FAQs and a little more information about it as well. So that
And we have those frequently asked questions on the other side for people that might want to sign up or be considering signing up too. And we've had good comments so far about the educational piece that we've been doing with the testimonials that we have. And a lot of times, like when we were on TV, we would take a member of the CAB, our advisory group, with us who had been in a research study, and she participated in some of the TV segments that we did. We also did a nationwide TRI I did on heart disease in women, but certainly put a plug in for our registry with that one too. So we're really trying to do a variety of venues to get that out there. We did a poster at the CTSA, the National CTSA Conference last spring, had very good comments about the poster and what we're trying. People were extremely interested in the way that we set it up and how we were going. People had never thought about going out to the community and to these different events and trying to recruit, like at ball games and things like that. And so I think we've done something very innovative here, and we're working on a manuscript we hope to get sent in very soon about establishing the registry. So.
What's the turnaround time when you request to when people are getting, if I study, I'm interested in getting potential, what's the turnaround time?
It's very quick. I would say a couple of days.
Okay.
I don't think it's any longer than that. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. I'll find out. That's one thing I have not tracked, but we'll find out. Nia, do you have any idea?
No. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm guessing just a couple days. We really try to be as responsive as we can because we know grant deadlines. We're very well aware of those. That was a good question. Good statistic we need to look at because that will be important to other researchers to know that. So, we've been presenting to resin. I've presented to resin a couple of times. I think maybe you have too, David. Amy Jo has, Jenkins. So we're just trying to go to a variety of different places to do this. I chair our UAMS research committee, and I've presented it there and talked to them about getting their researchers to write this in any of their grants that are going in, and to encourage all of their faculty members to always think about the registry.
Well, I think the fact that mental health was second and more than healthy volunteers is something for researchers and PRI to know. So that's a huge thing.
Yes, it is.
And you would think healthy volunteers were first.
Yes.
That's what I would have thought my hypothesis would have been. The fact that it's not is interesting.
Yeah, we were at the showcase of medical discovery the other day, and we had a couple PRI researchers come by, and that was like a eye opener for them.
Yes.
Yeah, because we discussed, should we use this? Because we've got one study that's coming to end. We're like, I don't know. There's probably not that many people that would fall within the study's criteria, but now I'm actually second guessing that I'm going to go tell them, like, we might want to do this. It might be worth our time.
And if I see any flyers, because people, and PRI happens to be one that I see periodically, and they have a call out for healthy volunteers, I always email that investigator and say, look at the registry. We've got a lot of healthy volunteers of a variety of ages and races and ethnicities in there. And I don't know that we put up the ethnicities. I don't know if you saw that or not, but it's very, I mean, we're really pleased with that. We hope to get more, but we do match our statistics in the state, which I think is pretty phenomenal. So,
When folks are registering, do you collect any self-reported health data, like height and weight, for example, or
No,
chronic
none.
conditions? None.
We're lucky to get them registered,
Yeah.
because remember, they're there to attend another event, and it takes about 5 minutes. And so to get them over and to get this in, so we could put, we've been talking about putting a couple of flyers for specific studies, like at the fair perhaps, that could be at our table. But we can't recruit for studies because we're in there just trying to get them in the registry. But we could say, here are a couple of studies that are actually going on right now, and they could pick that up and see that about that. We have been very hesitant to do anything like you're talking about because we're trying to get people to volunteer in the registry, and then you can go get that information.
You do have those, you're mapping by county, you do have some, their address or something.
Yes.
Especially your name, address, email, date of birth, race, sex, how you want to be contacted.
Got it.
And then
we-
what you're interested in.
And we also have, what kind of an event or where did you hear about it from? So, and that helps us to know the cost effectiveness, like going to the fair or going to the ball games. So we've been tracking that. We didn't do that originally, and we thought about that later because we thought, geez, we're having such good luck here. We better start tracking this so that we can say, yes, this is cost effective.
Yeah, I was curious to know if you've heard from the researchers on how successful people participate in projects. You can collect all this data when you contact.
I don't know that we have any of that information in yet. I mean, we've really just been launching this probably for the last 3-4 months, really, in depth. So it's pretty new, but we would definitely will be contacting that. And one of the things that we're worried about is that people have been in the registry for a while and haven't been contacted. And so that's why we've decided we better do birthdays, because we came across in the literature somebody else was doing birthdays. I thought that's a good idea. It's a simple way. We can track that electronically and be able to shoot out a birthday message to them. But we want to make sure it stays in their mind. They're in this registry.
And you don't even get an email or anything saying thank you for registering.
No, at the end of it, it pops up and says,
Okay.
thank you for submitting.
And we do send a thank you email.
Okay.
Every 3 months, we send one.
Keep in touch.
Just to say, thank you for registering.
It
We'll be in
asks,
touch.
it asks for your preferred way to be contacted. Is that the way you have to contact the participants?
I think that would be, it's not that it's absolutely that you can't do it any other way, but we try to do what they prefer, since they put that in there.
When researchers get that information, do they get that preferred?
They will get all the
They
contact.
get all the contact information, including their preferred method. Okay.
And so we haven't had anybody, and I don't know how many have actually been contacted yet, but we haven't had anybody complain about that. But one of the things about using the preferred method, let's say somebody had a disease they didn't want other people to know about, and if it went to their home address, snail mail versus to their iPhone or something. So we try to honor that if we can.
I was contacted about a survey research study a few months ago, and it was real quick and easy because I sent email, and I got an email that said, we're contacting you because of ARresearch.org. You're interested in hypertension. It was like a hypertension survey. And I mean, the survey took all of 10 minutes to take, and it was just quick and easy. And I mean, no negative for something like it. Was real great.
Do y'all have a template of a letter or email to send to people?
I don't know that we've developed that one because it's the specifics
Yeah.
for your
Just say,
study.
thanks for contacting. We're connecting through this, and then you can provide the specifics. I just wondered some people.
I don't think we've done that. I mean, we could if researchers would like that, we could certainly do that because we've tried to develop templates for as much as possible.
I just know the IRB often sometimes wants to see, that language.
And here's the IRB templates we were talking about earlier with how to do the protocol and stuff.
Oh, you'll know the contact email. There's one there in the call script. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it is on there.
Mm-hmm. We put as much up as we possibly can think about developing, make it as easy as
Something
possible.
like that.
And we have the blurb written already for going back in after you've started to accrue to be able to use the registry to make that as simple as possible. So we're trying to help as much as we can. If there's something we haven't thought of, we'll work on it and get it added too.
And is this open to researchers who are doing unfunded or pilot studies as long as they're IRB approved? Or is there
Yes,
sort
that
of
is correct. It's open to UAMS researchers. I think it's a really neat service to have. There aren't very many universities that have this. You know, and as I told you, Vanderbilt's been in existence for, much longer than ours, and we already have more people in our registry than the last published report that I saw from there. So I think that says a lot for us. So.
and there's another state fair coming up.
Yes, there is. And we could use a couple more volunteers if you want to help recruit. We're always looking for people to help recruit. We do 3-hour blocks at the state fair. And it really is interesting because we only get 2 parking decals and so we're passing, iPads and we're passing these things back and forth. We have this huge schedule written out for who's charging, who's passing, so that we can keep everything going and not miss any opportunities. That's probably our most involvement of all, is when we recruit at the fair, because we're required to have somebody there from the time it opens until it closes. So it's a long day for recruiting. Many, many, many hours we spend at the fair.
Could you go back to your PowerPoint slides?
Mm-hmm.
The one that gives you categories and ranks them.
Mm-hmm.
I was curious to know women's health.
Mm-hmm.
You said it was high, but what number was it? 5, 6?
Looks like
It's right here. 6, right here.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And we have examples on the site where they enroll. We'll have in parentheses what we mean by that, so that they can begin to see, some examples of different things that might be studies, content of studies. So it's not just that they say, well, does this really fit here or not? But so we try to, and those are all in pretty much lay terms. So cardiovascular disease would be heart attack or heart failure or high blood pressure, so that they understand, very understandable terms for them.
Over 70% of our registrants are women.
Yes,
70%.
yes. So we're really trying to get more males. That's our one thing and that's pretty typical. Women seem to volunteer more. And even like when we recruit at sporting events, the family will be there, and almost always the husband says, here, she'll fill it out. And, occasionally we'll get them to stay, because we'll have several iPads going, and we'll have one that he could fill out at the same time. Oh, she does all that kind of stuff or whatever. But sometimes we'll get the men to sign up.
You should go to like the bridal fair or something, and the men are just standing around.
That's a good idea. We never thought about that one. That's a real good idea.
Go to the mall, it's Christmas time, and the men will just be standing there.
That's a great idea. I hadn't thought about the bridal fair.
I don't think any men are at the bridal fair.
But if you think of any other places for us to recruit, please shoot us an email, whatever, and we'll try to get there. We just need a little bit of notice, because you can see just the September, October, we're already scheduling some for November, December. And so we need to get it in. There's about 5 of us on the committee, so and we try to pull in other people to help recruit all the time. We all have full-time jobs, so but we like to go out and recruit. It's a lot of fun to meet a lot of nice people. I think I got every policeman at the fair so far. It's, you see me coming, you go, I signed up last year. And then when we were at the fair last year, we were by the fire department and state highway patrol, and I forget how many different booths that were right there with us. And we go over to the booths and get those people to sign up too. So that's always been a good way to meet people. Any other suggestions that you can think of that would be good for us to recruit? You think any other topics you can think of that we have not covered?
It's a little hard to see that.
I know it is.
From with the text.
Look,
Although it looked like, I mean, from what I could see, it looked like it was fairly representative.
Here, but that's a little bit easier. See, like here, under allergy, we have food or seasonal, to give them an idea about that. Liver, we have cirrhosis, hepatitis, liver failure. Neurology, we've got Alzheimer's, headache, seizures, stroke, ALS, most people know that, MS. We've got, this is more from the adult perspective of this, dealing with children with autism, heart disease, chest pain, heart failure, heart attack, high blood pressure, skin disorders, psoriasis, eczema, shingles. We did not have this one in here. Somebody, and I think it was at the ball game, brought that one up, and we had to get that one added. So just to give you an idea.
Trauma is not that bad. I mean, I guess injury prevention, but not really trauma, like motor vehicle accidents. I mean, I can't really register and say I don't have a wreck this
Yeah.
day, but it could be a follow-up. Like we want to reach out to you after you had some sort of traumatic incident or ER, that type of
And
stuff.
that could be under mental health, or we try to figure out where that might be.
Trauma is not really under mental health.
No, I mean if they had a long-term impact, is what I meant by that.
I mean, maybe under women's health, changing obstetrics gynecology to maybe more lay language, like pregnancy, something like that. But, I mean, aside from just parsing language, which get a group of faculty and they'll do it, it looks like it's pretty comprehensive. I mean, I'm kind of lost for anything that I could not fit into one of those categories.
And I would reach out maybe to someone from the ER and see if they had any interest in this and how they would recommend putting it on there. Because I know that some of the ER physicians do research.
And they have, and we've gotten input from researchers and from people in different departments that have looked at that. And, but we just haven't, we feel pretty comfortable about it at this point. If somebody does come up with something specific, we're certainly amenable to adding. Most of the trauma results in one of these if it's long-term
It'd
issue.
be important if it's suicide and mental health. There's lots of that going on.
Yeah.
Could you go back to that PowerPoint, the ranking? I said cancer, and I wanted to see where cancer was ranked.
Okay. Yeah, it's right there.
And then another thing is, you say you have a Hispanic population. I'm curious to know how you obtain their information and how acceptable they were. That's a very sensitive group of people. And I got a couple of areas, but I have to talk to a couple of leaders before, I tell you about it.
We have, she's Latino, she's PhD prepared nurse in the College of Nursing and is on our committee. And I happen to be her dissertation chair, so I can tell you, she is very involved in the community. In fact, she's volunteered some at the Mexican consulate. She's volunteered at some of the clinics that serve primarily Latinos. She has been instrumental in recruiting for us, along with some other people in Northwest Arkansas particularly. If we go elsewhere, she usually is the person that goes with us since she speaks fluent Spanish. And we did have experts translate, and she back translated them to try to look at the language. I just was meeting with her yesterday, and it's very interesting that the newer immigrants coming in are speaking a different dialect. They're not primarily from the Mexico, Central America, but perhaps further south in Central America and South America now, and coming in with very different dialects. And she said, so they're both, even when she meets with them and they're speaking we certainly could use someone more fluent in another dialect. I think that would be very beneficial to us. But we're working very hard trying to get them into studies so that our research will benefit them. But as you are aware, many of them are not in this country have appropriate legal status. And they're very worried that if they enter something like this, that it may be turned over to the federal government. And so we do a lot of work trying to reassure them that this is for health and health only and research, and this is not turned over to the federal government. Yeah, but it's part of that education piece that I addressed at the very beginning. And it's difficult to overcome with some of the things going on in our political system right now. For them balancing it out, they've kind of trusted, with the young group that we call the Dreamers, and they trusted and put their names out, and now we're kind of going backwards on what we had told them we would do as a country. And so, I think they would have every right to suspect that, well, you say you won't do this, but how do we know you won't do it or be required to do this?
I'm
And so,
also curious about their access to emails, since, did you have a problem with that or not?
most of them have smartphones.
Okay, good.
They do. And they do get to choose how they want this. We have probably about 300 to 400 Marshallese in it, besides our other Latino population, our Pacific Islanders, and then our Latino population. So we do have a large group, and we do have people that speak their language in Northwest Arkansas that have helped us recruit up there. And so, but we're always amenable. If you know other communities or someone that might be willing, we don't really have much money since we're in we have 1 year budget is what we have, and not a full budget, but we do have that, and we'll be going in for renewal. But we would certainly be very amenable to trying to work with someone in a community to recruit more people, because we really would like this to reach all people. I know the Latino women have much higher rates of HPV, cervical cancer. We really need to reach that population very much to try to save some lives there. That would be one way to do it. So,
We've had good success recruiting for the women's clinic.
mhm.
We had 2 Spanish-speaking RAs, and almost more than half the time they would participate.
Another resource for us has been the Hispanic Livings Organization of Arkansas, which is run by Margarita Soldazano
Yes.
up in Northwest Arkansas. She's on our TRI Community Advisory Board, and so she helped us when we launched ARresearch, and she was very helpful to us when we went up there for Cinco de Mayo Festival. And she's just been a real good partner for us as well, helping get the word out about ARresearch.
Yeah, she's been excellent, absolutely excellent. I was telling you about the different colors and things, like, you need some bright colors in this. And so, because we had kind of muted colors to begin with. And so we're just real pleased with all the input that we've had from the cabinet, but especially her. She's just been very instrumental in helping us across the Latino population. Other questions or comments? All right, well, you've been a wonderful audience. I appreciate you being here. I really like your questions and your input. It's been very helpful.